I pick up on the subliminal broadcasting because what media did was never report what happened, but to keep pulsing the subconscious of people so that when word got around, sort of, prior planning was in place to cultivate perceptions subconsciously through extrasensory brainwashing. And so I pick up on some of the details of how that unfolded for those who say, sitting there in common sense topia with their spinner beanies on, that John Lennon, I don't believe any stupid conspiracy theories. I believe that he was really killed by Mark David Chapman. And then they heard them mentioning my name and leaving me the blame, as they say, superstar. So we have more than enough to show that Penis Gabriel and Martin Scorsese and Mel Gibson teamed up on torturing me. When people feel sad that they see me unable to walk in the park without assistance at the age of 65, they know that it's because Seattle, Washington molested me. And they know they're not supposed to say anything. So they look at their shoes. Rusted Root and their gang got rid of me. Now, it's hard to know what to say in light of all of that. I don't know what to say in light of all of that because I have to live with it. King Crimson turned out to be, and you might expect it, the most malicious people in a malicious field of endeavor. And I don't believe that there's anything that will stop Paul McCartney and Simon Sharma from bribing people who, after all, were paid relatively small sums of money to torture me as a child, to continue playing the Two Virgins AIDS poison war game, which was a pre-planned operation. At first, it looked slick that they could pretend to find the script and say, aha, we can use the Two Virgins war game for psychoanalysis. But it was all in place and planned and timed to take over media through the sophomore division of the status quo at Carnegie Mellon University, where covering for their friends who had deafened me in the first place, the gang at Carnegie Mellon in Mr. Rogers' neighborhood made me the odd man out. And they used governor's craft to implant a neuroplasm and then blow smoke in my face and say, but you all love it, don't you? And Frank Zappa and Larry Flint teamed up to make defending me in any way the basis for book burning. Freedom of speech had a red line. You cannot question their idea that John Lennon would have supported the people who they say shot him. Paul McCartney intoned, people are weird. And the idea that I would know something about it is just ridiculous. Rosa was arranged by the Italian Communist Party, supposedly. So it was, I had devalued and damaged their goods, is the word that comes down through the alpha wave. Obviously, that war game is morally disturbed as a cover up, as it is for the people who, after all, insulted the intelligence of all of us with the AIDS attack. Now, we're in a situation where I'm told to drop the story for the good of the children of Gaza. Well, you would think if they felt that way, they would leave us alone. But these people want their cake and eat it too. They want to take children of Gaza hostage, take me hostage, torture me, fulfill their war game, say ha ha, rub it in our faces, and then say, but you all love it, don't you? I mean, even the sandbaggers have had the stupid sandbaggers like Francesca Albanese. Stupid Francesca Albanese. Even she realizes that just forgiving Nosferatu and his gang is a little bit much to ask after what they've pulled for the last 2 years. And of course, what I've reported about them. But you would have to pull the stopper out of the stink sink Ringo Starr and watch him go down the drain to do anything normal. Now, I've learned some things. One of them is that the Holocaust survivors spoke openly in the concentration camps to the effect that it wouldn't be revenge if they didn't do it to innocent people. That's number one. This is all about hating the United States. Hate, 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 hate on the United States. Oh, one of you back there behind this ferocious tag team of molesters may be okay. So we're going to hate him most of all. So it was all, a soap opera about the people who committed the genocide. A big boo-hoo for the Muslim terrorists behind the supernova rave working with Nosferatu on the cover-up about Gail Burston. A big boo-hoo. And who pays for the boo-hoo? Well, the children of Gaza and the so-called Sodom and Gomorrah of supernova. Because we all know that we were taking out the immorals. And that's why Zappa and Flint didn't want it talked about. And why the King Crimson people were in such glee. How do you expect me to drop the story when you don't leave me alone about it? When you keep poisoning me? Demanding that I play the infidel who proves the sacred Taliban of the extermination quorum by joining the ranks of the lemmings and diving over the cliff. That's the way McCartney has fiendishly esquired his Penis Gabriel rap sheet for years and years and years. I do wish I was facing better prospects of the future. My father died at the age of 72, which is not that far down the road for me. Mysteriously, when the Bush battalions around him put a bat in his bed and he writhed up. And they stamped their notary public on the back of his obituary, German Green Party, don't know who. And the ball rug came up at the top of the cliff throwing boulders down, Donald Trump. And they say, don't scare the people in power this way. But the people in power have the right to torture me. I'm not allowed to be scared. See, the feedback loop is strange. I'm insignificant and I'm getting a feedback loop going to the mighty. And they're just about widening their drawers. So I'll tell you what I'll do, old faithful that I am, is I propose to stand by my girlfriend and describe for the courts the three mirrors and explain that they've been doing this for quite some time. And it demonstrates that James Bond that came out about bio-war with COVID was part of the mirror machine. That we should all think carefully about when it starts controlling our minds and just going around assuming it went the way that they refuse to even admit they claim it went.